Hello, Rajeshwari. Very good evening. Are you able to hear me? Good evening, Amar.
Hi, Amar. Hi.
Hi.
Rajesh, could you please come on video?
Yeah, my pleasure. Hope you can able to see me. My voice is very clear, right?
Yes, we can able to see you.
Great.
You're based in Bangalore, right, Rajesh?
You are right, Amar. That's right.
Okay, great. Okay, Harit should be joining in a minute and we'll get started.
We'll wait. No issues.
There we go.
Hey Amar, hey Rajeshwari,
Hey,
Hey,
hey
hi.
Rajesh, hi.
Hello. Very good evening.
Hello.
Hi, Harit. Yeah, Rajesh, could you please show your ID now?
Yeah, my pleasure. It's my other card.
Yeah, little closer. Little closer. Yeah. Keep it little back. Yeah, hold.
Mm,
Keep it hold.
mm.
Okay, the ID verification is completed. Thank you.
Thank you,
thank
Harit.
you.
Rajeshwari.
So, Rajesh, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining today and thanks for your interest in TCS. I'm Amar. I'm based in London and I lead the operational resilience portfolio globally across BFSI. And we have Harit, who's based in India, in Pune, and he leads third-party risk management and also the Center of Excellence for Operational Resilience, right, globally as well across BFSI. So I'll just set a little bit of context around the structure of this unit, what we focus on, the sort of the role in general, and then we'll get into a bit more of the discussion about your CV and your background, right? So we're part of the CRO strategic initiative, right? So as you know, TCS has always been very focused on technology infrastructure, and over the last few years, I'd say not even a few years, 5, 10 years, there's been much of a focus to get into other areas, right? So risk is one of those, and this CRO strategic unit was set up to really focus on all elements of risk. So whether that be market, credit, operational, non-financial risk, everything that really has a risk spin to it is managed through this strategic initiative. And within that, within non-financial risk and sort of the operational risk world, we have this portfolio that's really been stood up a couple of years ago, just focusing on operational resilience. Now, that entails a number of areas, right? So all the regulatory bits that are out there right now globally, there's a huge transformation required in the industry. So we support our clients in that area. Business continuity management, third-party risk, supply chain, financial resilience. So anything that really has a resiliency spin on it, DORA, for example, technology resilience, we come up and we present, to clients our advisory and technology capabilities in that space. That's essentially what we do. We are no different to what other consulting firms do. But I think the edge that we have is we utilize our technology specialist skill sets, right, that TCS has, and we fuse that with the advisory. So that's essentially what we do. Now, at the moment, we are growing the practice. We're seeing a lot of demand in the area of operational resiliency in general across all of those pillars that I just spoke to. And we are looking to bring on, obviously, qualified professionals that've got really strong experience, such as yourself, onto the team to support our clients. So this is an external facing role. So it's a client facing role. You would be, if you're successful, you'd be deployed onto the client environment, whether that be offshore or onshore. And we're not recruiting for a specific role right now or for a specific client. We want to bring profiles on first, and then we will match up the sort of the skill sets, and tie that to the actual requirement from the client. Right.
Understood.
So that's just a bit of broader sense of obviously how we're structured. We are a global team. Our client base is completely global, and we focus on banking, financial services, and insurance. So I'll just pause there. Any questions on that? All clear so far?
Absolutely, very much clear. Thank you so much, Amar. And thank you, Hari, for your valuable time. And first and foremost, once again, very good evening and good morning, good evening. And as you see my CV. I can go ahead, right? So maybe with your
Yeah, why don't you talk about your current day-to-day at SocGen, if you can, what your day-to-day looks like. I'm very interested in
Mhm.
aspects of business continuity. If you
Right,
can also talk about any experience on resilience,
right,
and operational resilience, that would
right.
be great. I think those two areas with the broader aspects of technology resilience that I've
Sure.
seen in your other
Right.
experience, those are the experiences that we're really interested in. Yeah,
Thank you.
Rajesh.
Thank you so much. Let me take you through. Amar, as you see my CV, so I spent almost all 16 years in industry experience, out of which 13 years predominantly with business continuity, IT resiliency, disaster recovery management, and the crisis management. These are the predominantly four portfolios that I managed with IBM, Wipro, and Society generally. So let me start from the Society generally. As you know and aware, Society generally, it is a French, financial multinational provider, where we used to have the in-house business, which means we will be downloading the activities from the headquarter to India as an entity. And once it is been onboarded, so we will be involving in the initial stage itself by accessing the activity, information about the activity from the business teams, which means we will be giving them the risk assessments and the business impact analysis from the initial stage itself. So once we complete the initial discussion with the business team, so we will officially ask them to document the BCPs, which means they have to provide the basic information of the project or account, the activity or process, whatever it is coming to the India. Once it has been done, so we will be explaining awareness sessions will be the second area. So what is the importance of the resiliency? So how it is important for them to provide the continuity in case if there is any disruption, if there is any crisis or calamity, how it can be sustained, how it can be continued from the recovery location. That is the main area that we will be focusing as a bank. So third one, if I coming to the testings, once the documentation is over, then we will coming to the awareness sessions. Once awareness sessions is over, then we will move into the testing phase. Whatever the information that they have captured, which will be tested, which means we have the strong resiliency strategies in place, which means we follow generally L1, L2, L3, L4 scenarios. It is nothing that as a whole of a building or floor, if it is not available, how this can be continued from the recovery location. If this consider that is an L1 scenario, so we will have the different multiple locations within the India, within the campus, within the building. We will ask the business to go to the other building to continue the services. If not, we have already identified the people who will also continue these services. Secondary, which is called as a campus outages. Within the campus, if there is an outage, we have the strong resiliency to continue the services and provide the continuity of the critical activities. Thirdly, we will have the city outage. As a city of Bangalore, if it is down, since I'm based out of Bangalore location, we have the strong resiliency onshore as well as the alternative site in Chennai location. So we used to do this kind of resiliency testings for each and every activity, each and every processes. Before we do that, we will initially enter into the risk third party risk assessment, which include the vendors, services, and the suppliers for to evaluate the risk and the status of the progress. Which means if any new vendor is coming to the process, we will have the discussion. So we will have the comprehensive risk assessments which is in place, which will help us to identify the what kind of risk they have and exactly how we can have the mitigation plans to reduce their risk. All those things will be discussed. Once if they are fine, we will mutually have the agreement understanding with the top management, and we will proceed, and immediately we will have the continuation evaluation plan in place, which means we will, once it has been documented and approved, we will not going to be stopped. So once in every quarter, once in every month, we will be keep reviewing the policies, documentation, evaluation of the risk. It is a continuation process. Once it is been done, we will be highlighting the risk in our steer code discussions. We have a steer code discussion, so which you have the complete leadership team. So from the CEO to all the business heads will be part of the steer code discussions. We will have the risk RRMs, I mean risk review meetings on quarterly basis. We will be highlighting the risk in front of the leadership, what kind of risk they have. All those things will be part of the governance. So coming back to the strategic, which is not there in the CV, Amar and Pranit, I would like to put you this way. I have took a project called Convergence. This is my first project in SocGen, which is very challenging role for me. What I did basically, India is the GSC, which is Global Solution Center, which has the huge business for the society generally. So Romania and the Morocco, which are the small entities where they are just little starting up recently, and I took a project called Convergence. What I did, so I exactly replicated the processes, the procedures, the SIPs, SOPs, and all these things will be replicated from the Romania and Morocco. This is one of the project which took me almost 4 months to complete this. And currently, I can proudly say that whatever the policies, whatever the SOPs, whatever the reports or governance, whatever we have implemented and processed, the same is replicating in the 2 locations. That is one of the project. Secondly, I personally took a challenge to create the crisis playbook, which was not there previously, which is not there in my CV also. Crisis playbook is very important for the crisis management, because during any calamity, during any crisis, we have so many tools internally, because it is an entity. So we have so many tools which can be operating day-to-day life, and we have so many information everywhere. But my question to my top management, are you familiar to access the information during any crisis? Absolutely, since they are busy with their regular day-to-day schedules, and if there is a crisis, they don't know actually where to go, how to access the information. However, I prepared a crisis playbook which will really help them to understand, as a crisis director, as a like in different functions, like in corporate communication, legal, and information security team, and crews, and all different types of departments. What is the role and responsibility during any crisis? Which will really help them to understand whom to go, how to approach. So this is one of the achievement apart from my Convergence project. These are the 2 things
Yeah.
that I have achieved, Amar. So I'm just giving a pass here. Probably you might be having a
No, that's
question.
really good. It's really good. It sounds like you've got your broad experience across BCM. I mean, BCM lifecycle is BCM lifecycle, right?
Right.
It's been going on. I think what I'm really interested in then is, have you pushed the boundary of BCM, right, into operational resilience? Because as you know, SocGen, and I know them pretty well. So I'm just very curious if you and in the India team have got involved in the global program at Societe Generale on operational resilience, really utilizing the foundation of BCM to then look at, okay, so if you've got all of these critical processes, how does that then support the end-to-end services that SocGen delivers to its customers? And I know there are programs underway at
Right.
SocGen and the whole industry, right? Because it's a whole regulatory element. So
Absolutely.
have you had any exposure to that side of things, of operational resilience,
Yes.
based on the work that you're doing on BCM? Could you just talk me through some of the examples of what you've done there, Rajesh?
Yes, my pleasure to explain it to you. Amar, basically, as I mentioned in the beginning also, once any activity coming to India, in fact, so I'm reporting to head of the risk and resiliency. This is what my hierarchy. So I'm playing as a role called principal business partner. Under me, I have 4 BCM managers. So he will be reporting to the global, India head, and that is what the hierarchy all about. It will go through. If I talk about the activities, once any activity coming to India, so we will have the immediate interaction or a discussion or assessment, which will give us the clear-cut idea. We will be categorizing as a vital and critical or secondary and non-priority. So vital and critical activities which has the very less RTOs, which will start from H0 to H+4, H+8, and it will go up to M+1. My first priority and focus will be the critical and vital activities. So during any calamity, so these are the activities which has very less RTO, as well as the risk is also included in that. If this activity is not available for the next 30 minutes or next 1 hour, so we have the financial impact, we have the reputational impact, we have other impacts also.
Yep.
We will be defining each and every risk for the every activity, which will be documented in the business impact analysis. So we will be involving day to day with the business teams, asking them, interacting with them, identifying them, and providing our mitigation plans, and implementing them in the BAA plans, and we will be testing it. So this is the life
So
cycle.
outside of that,
Mhm.
because that's traditional BCM, right?
Mhm.
BIA and testing and process mapping and all of that. But have you have the BCM team been engaged, you know, to get involved in the, you know, are you aware of operational resilience and the regulatory? Are you aware of that? Like
Yes,
what
yes.
the regulators are asking for? So,
Right.
you know, the regulators are really pushing organizations to now look at the end-to-end services. Yeah. So
Right.
you get the whole service that's being delivered to the end customer. You know, firms need to map that whole service. So they need to look at what the value chain is for that service. They need to then look at what are the impact tolerances, right,
Right.
for those services. I mean, RTO is one thing. You look at RTO from a process
Right.
perspective, but at a service level, you look at your impact tolerances, right? And I just wondered if you have any experience in
Right.
that space at all. Have you or your team have BCM team been engaged to support that program? And if
Right.
you haven't, it's fine. I was just very curious to know if you've done any work in that area at all.
Yes. Let me put you this way. Amar, as you know that, you know, society generally it is a captive business, which means it is an in-house business.
Yeah.
We don't have any external customers to face, right? So generally what happens, we have the SG code, society general code, and we have the methodology and internal framework, which will really help us to follow it, the regulatory, like, you know, guidelines, which was defined from the like, you know, head office. Whatever the
Okay.
whatever the Paris is my headquarter. So Paris has already defined the regulatory for every entity across the globe. So what we will
Yeah.
basically, we will downgrade it and we will try to implement every quarter. So every quarter it is my responsibility to access the latest regulatories, latest, like, you know, strategic like, you know, plans, and we will be implementing. So because we have a dedicated team, separate team, where they will be working toward close to the regulatory bodies. They will be implementing the changes whatever it is required or applicable. Same thing will be providing us to implement in our individual entities. That is what the flow in the society generally. So I don't have any exposure directly with the government authorities or regulatory authorities to interacting and accessing their latest standards. Maybe if you are looking for that kind of exposure, I am sorry to say that, you know, I don't have it.
No, that's fine. I was just very curious to know on, you know, if you've had any experience there. That's fine. I mean, it is, BCM is a key component of operational resilience, but as you say, you're looking at it more from a captive perspective. So, okay, what about ITDR, yeah, and technology resilience? So, have you heard of DORA, the Digital Operational Resiliency Act?
I'm aware of
So,
it.
can you talk me through, like, how your experience relates to DORA? Like, have you, because obviously DORA is huge, yeah? DORA is like, you know, ICT risk management, ICT third-party risk, ICT incident management. Like, can you talk me through some of your experience that relates to the DORA Act? I mean, you may not have had direct experience in implementing DORA, but obviously the work that you may have done on technology resilience would probably support DORA. Yeah. So could you just talk me through that, please?
Okay, Amar, I will put you this way.
Thanks.
Maybe I may not be completely giving the complete information about the DORA Act and whatever we supported, whatever we did till now. Probably I can put you this way. It will help you to understand where I am coming from. So disaster recovery of the IT applications or data centers, it is one of my portfolio where we will be having the like, you know, application testings and the data centers testing, side down testings. Generally, we will be involving all the application owners, business owners for our discussions to implement or conduct these kind of testings, right? So while we are conducting the any testing, we will go for again application wise business impact analysis. So again, we will have the identification of the risk, and probably if they have any challenges, like, you know, if the production issues, probably we will take the approvals from the business teams, and probably it will go for next like, you know, next time, like, you know, we will be involving those testings. So IT disaster recovery, which will really help the applications and data centers to know the, like, you know, what is the contingency, like, you know, process which help the business to provide the continuity. So which means if the data center A, it is going to be down, so we have the resiliency strategies in place to provide the complete information to support the applications, all those things. Probably I'm coming from this area, so for that we will be giving, like, you know, 90 days of time for each and every testing with the 1500 applications we will be monitoring and observing to conduct regularly. So that is what the exactly I came from. So probably I hope that I answered at least some part, not fully. So if you can
Yeah,
help.
so I'll ask you a few narrower questions then. So how much work have you done on technology DR testing, right? As part of your BCM work. So
Right.
what have you done around DR tests? Have you led any DR tests? Like
Yes.
what's your role been on DR? Could you talk me through that?
Right, sure. If I want
Yep.
to conduct any DR testing, generally what happens, so we have to define the goals and objective of the applications. Once it has been defined goals and objectives, we will seek the approval from the respective business owner. So we will exactly decide when we want to test. Generally, we will normally take 90 days of duration to conduct any DR testing. So from the T minus 90 to T plus 30, this is exactly duration to conduct every test. From the execution, from the planning phase, execution phase, and the reporting phase, there are different types of phasings. During the planning phase, so we will be involving and checking the run book and the test scripts, as well as the networks, architecture, solutionings, everything we will be discussing in detail. And if there is any requirement, probably we will ask and all the business team to have it updated accordingly. Once it is been done, we will be directly checking with the tabletop testings by involving all the teams and one particular place. And once we have the gaps identified, we will try to fulfill the gaps before the execution day. And we will have the CAB, change advisory board, which will help us to provide their approvals. And we will be giving that detailed information and description why we are conducting these kind of testings, what is the extra thing that we will be gaining, and what kind of advantage for the process and the area. So all these things will be discussed with the CAB management board. And once we seek the approvals, and we will be executing on the exact date. Once if we fail for any DR testing, probably after the execution day, we will immediately do the gap analysis, where exactly it went wrong, and we will identify the gaps, and we will seek the customer approval again. And we will tell that within the 30 days, within the 60 days time, we will try to fill the gaps. Once it is been done, again it will go for the retesting. So that is how we will be conducting and involving all the business teams, all the application teams, for the discussions and execution. And once it is been done, we will be publishing the reports. This is what the governance structure has. So Amar.
Okay, understood. And what about your technical expertise? Just talk me through your experience on technology, whether they be technology tools, any certifications on technology.
If you are asking me specifically, so we have this service now, which is called a tool which will help during any DRD executions. Internally, from BC point of view, we have multiple tools which supports the applications, which supports the processes, which supports the controls, and which supports the audits. We have multiple tools, Samar, if you are asking me specifically that area. So I'm aware of each and every tool, how it is going to be operate, how to extract the information, how to provide the inputs, all those things I have gone through it. So with my past experience with IBM and Wipro and Society Generally is the biggest company where we have a number of tools for every area. So because it is a bank, so every minute, every second, it is important for me to monitor with multiple different tools.
Okay, and what about your experience in third-party risks, so vendor management? You mentioned that in your CV. Talk to me about what you've done in that area. Yeah.
Right. As I mentioned, so it is very important for us to involve the comprehensive assessment with the vendors, suppliers, and service providers, because these areas will really impact the business by involving the risk also in the different areas. For example, it could be a compliance failures, or it could be a data breaches, or it could be a reputational damages, which may, whatever the reason, we should be very careful during the entire process. For to do that, generally what I will do, I conduct a comprehensive risk assessment for each and every vendor. So generally I will try to understand what is their risk, and how can we mitigate the risk. So the same, once it has been completed, we will be informing the business leaders, like, this is what the vendor, this is what the assessment that we did, and this is what the risk, and this is what the mitigation that can be help us to reduce the risk. So all those things is a process of the my work area. And once it has been done, so based on the management approval, so whatever the suggestions, whatever the recommendation that I proposed, so if they give me approvals, probably I will implement those changes, and we will try to reduce the risk for the process or organization. That is what exactly I did for Societies in Delamere.
Okay, great. And just one final question for me. What are your sort of career ambitions? Where you've obviously got some strong BCM experience more recently, but like, where do you see yourself in a few years? What's your career plan?
As you know, Amar, so I think business continuity is not a like in a small area that we can learn and complete it. So it is a continuation process to learn and gain from different organization, from the different leadership like you. And maybe I spent the maximum time with IT, and I spent with the banking. And if I can get the opportunity with the TCS, again, it is a external service. I love to have the external exposure with the customers, because in IBM, I had the privilege to interact 1,000+ accounts directly. So when the customer comes, and it is my responsibility to provide them the complete strategic plan, how the IBM was supporting to their business, and we used to get the maximum appreciations. That is why business used to come, new business used to come. So I really interested to having this external customer experience. Probably looking forward to have this kind of roles. Maybe TCS is one of the company where I'm getting this opportunity. If I get an opportunity, probably I'm really happy, and I will continue to dig into the deep to with my past experience to providing the meeting the organization objective and goals.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks, Rajesh. I'm going to hand it over to Harit, see if he's got any questions to add.
Yes, Amar, I would like to ask you one question with regards to the location and with regards to my hierarchy, how it will be the reporting structure and whom I need to report in India and onshore.
Yeah. So hierarchy and everything, it will be something that HR will talk you through. So we are a very large organization, right? And hierarchy is very broad. It's not like in a bank, right? It's very, very different over here. So you will be in this portfolio, but obviously you wouldn't stay in this portfolio. You would be deployed onto different accounts, right?
Wow.
So that's how it works. So you have organizations with clients that we support all over the world. As soon as you're engaged, you would be allocated.
Very interesting,
right, to them.
Yeah.
So and then location wise, so you're in Bangalore. Is that your preference, Bangalore?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Amar.
Okay. Are you flexible in terms of moving around India or even onshore, or what's your?
Absolutely. I will. Yeah, definitely. So if I get an opportunity to onshore opportunity also, definitely I'm happy to or willing to relocate it.
Okay. Good to know. Thanks. I'll just hand it off to Harit. Harit, do you want to?
Thank you, Amar. Hey, Rajesh. Hi.
Hi, Eri.
So first of all, thank you for taking out time for this interaction, Rajesh. I think Amar has already covered most of the questions. Just on the TPRM side, all I wanted to know is when you talked about vendor assessments or third-party assessments, my understanding is that's third-party BCM, right? Or is it broader assessment?
It's a part of the BCM portfolio. So generally,
So basically checking
it is a vertical.
If their RTO, RPOs aligned with the Society Generale as an organization,
right,
your services,
right. That is what exactly where I was.
Right. Got it. Okay. No, I think Amar has already covered what we wanted to ask, Rajesh. Unless you have any more questions, anything you wanted to clarify, I'm good.
Absolutely, I don't have any questions as of now. I think the JD clears me very impressive. I think it is going to be 100% of matching, and
Right.
I think it is going to be a great opportunity for me to work under great leadership like you. And I just like to highlight one thing that I'm already relieved from Society Generally, where I got a offer from NCR, which I don't like to go far from Bangalore, so I'm immediately
Okay.
available. Just want to
Sure.
let you know, so nothing else.
Oh, you're immediately
Okay.
available. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay. Sure.
Okay,
No, we'll
good
keep
to
that in mind.
good to know. Thanks very much, Rajesh. You'll
Thank
hear
you,
back from
Rajesh.
HR directly.
Take
Thank
care.
you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take
Cheers.
care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Bye.
day.